On the 19th of September 2025, USCIS implemented a $100,000 employee fee for each new H-1B hire. Uh, Intended to curb the dependency on foreign labor, this announcement had the greatest impact on the Indian community. Ignacio, this one's for you. For the interest of the audience, can you please help us understand this announcement and the facts of the news?
Thank you for the question. It's created repercussions throughout the world, particularly in the India technology industry and technology companies in the United States. The idea is basically to create a very high cost for U.S. employers to hire foreign workers who have not studied in the United States. It does not apply to F-1 students, for example. That's the academic student visa that then transition into optional practical training periods of 1 to 3 years. So it does not apply to those people. It also does not apply to people renewing their visas unless there's a gap in their visa status as an H-1B worker. But it does apply to people who have never set foot in the United States. And that meant immediately that there's a significant barrier to recruiting foreign technology workers from anywhere in the world.
Thanks for that. The next one is on the 30th of October 2025, USCIS eliminated the automatic 540-day extension for the H-4 EAD renewals. We are also seeing that the next available H-1B visa appointments for Indians are now scheduled for May of 2027. Rohit, this one's for you. How has it been for you while dealing with clients who are currently on an H-1B and H-4 since this announcement?
One word, disastrous. But to just expand a little bit on that, I actually have a client right now where the wife has got the H-1 back in the US. The husband is waiting in India for an H-1B. Like Ignacio said, and like you said as well, it's been, his visa appointment was canceled 2 days before the appointment. He's stuck over there and has been told that he's probably going to wait there till April 2027. So we're in the process of filing an EB-5 with a concurrent adjustment of status for the wife. The husband is not going to be able to do it unless he's able to actually get in. So it's very interesting. It's very scary. It's, I think, breaking up families. My biggest concern is how is that person sitting outside going to keep his job or her job? Because that's a big issue, and we can talk about that some more time permitting as to how that affects the H-1 itself.
Arushi, with the increased growth in the AI industry, most of the FANG companies are laying off their employees, right? Yeah. And along with that, the new 100,000 H-1B fee will significantly limit employers' ability to reduce their H-1B sponsorship. Right. What are your thoughts on this, and have these factors contributed to an increase in demand for the EB-5 visa?
Thank you for the question, Edwin, and very valid points raised by both Ignacio and Rohit in the discussion earlier. As a firm, we've been dealing with a majority of H-1B visa holders when we are advising them with regards to the EB-5 program. And what we see as a recurrent theme is the difficulty that the employees are facing with regards to visa renewals, or for that matter, the latest $100,000 bond which has been put up for them. This has definitely motivated a lot of H-1B visa holders to look for options such as the EB-5 program, particularly because nobody wants to be in an environment of uncertainty. I think that is the biggest evil, because you come to a country, you spend substantial savings on education, then you work very hard for several years altogether. Majority of our clients are at senior positions at Meta, Google, Tesla. So when it comes to H-1B and these new restrictions on them, they see this as more of a deterrent, and in comparison, EB-5 appears to be a game changer, because the EB-5 program since 2022 opened the gateway to concurrent adjustment of status, meaning you're able to apply for employment authorization document, travel permit, and currently it is valid for 2 years, used to be 5 years. But it offers massive advantage because, God forbid, let's say you're laid off, you always have the EAD card to bank upon.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Now that we've spoken about the H-1B, the other visa category that comes into play is the F-1, right? So for years, the natural trajectory of immigration to the US for skilled Indians and Chinese used to be to come to the US on an F-1 student visa, study at one of the world-renowned universities there, work for 1 to 3 years, uh, go on their OPT, if non-STEM, STEM, whatever the course that they do, then hope to get through to one of the companies, get into the H-1B lottery, and then that would be the normal trajectory that they would follow.
Sure.
Rohit, your thoughts in this regard, I would want to kind of hear from you about this.
Well, I think from at least anecdotal information, clearly the number of applicants for an F1 has shrunk considerably. From a lot of reports I've read, it's dropped by 40%, which is a very telling story in terms of how that's going to have an impact, especially where universities like Harvard, Brown, Columbia, NYU, all these have had to compromise their positions in for various different purposes. So I think that's certainly going to have an impact on may not be directly on EB-5, but it's certainly going to have an impact on the educational system. It's going to have an impact on H1s. It's got a lot of impact over there, which is none of it being very positive.
Yeah. Starting 27th February 2026, USCIS is replacing the random H-1B lottery system with a weighted selection process. Favoring higher wages, which means higher paid roles, would now get higher priority and that's the trajectory that is being set forth. Ignacio, isn't this expected to directly impact the changes of young graduates obtaining the H-1B and getting through the lottery system?
That's correct. So the policy decision by the current administration is that the H-1B visas that are available from a limited pool should be skewed towards critical workers. And the skew is determined by the government to favor people that have work experience, but also to favor people that are already in the United States. So it's a bit challenging. You have to understand that their idea, the government's idea of an H-1B target worker, is somebody with a master's degree or a PhD degree, rather than somebody with a bachelor's degree, which is somewhat different to the minimum requirements of the program. The program only requires a bachelor's degree. So that's the internal thinking of where they're going with the H-1B program into the future.
So if I can make a comment on
Absolutely.
that, the only thing that I think positive that's likely to come out of this, picking up on what Ignacio said, is it's possible they might not hit the quota, because if they're skewing it directly to people who are very highly paid, by the time it trickles down to the entry-level people, I'm not sure. There may be some numbers left over, but I think this is a wait-and-watch game, especially because it's the first year that they're going to be using this.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens and how do F1s react to it. I don't know if that means that the undergrad who would normally go and get experience for a couple of years through their OPT or even an H1 and then go to a master's program, are they going to just jump into a master's program directly? Also raises the issue of whether you've lost your OPT, whether you're going to regain the OPT if it's a STEM degree. You've got a host of issues, I think, that are open-ended right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Akshat, I want to hear from you, because we, on the regional center side, we speak to a lot of parents. We speak to a lot of people who are already in the US. Focusing a little more on the parents who want to send their children abroad for further studies. What's the different approach that you're seeing right now post these changes which have been announced?
Sure. Firstly, thanks, Edwin, for having me here today in such an august gathering. I think it's wonderful. And in terms of answering your question, I think we've seen a greater trend of parents taking a timely action. So a lot of times we used to see that parents would essentially file EB-5 for their kids when they would probably be in their freshman year or probably have already gotten through F1. But recently we've seen a trend where parents are taking this decision of filing EB-5 way in advance. They want to ensure that their kids probably get their conditional green card while they're just eligible to file an application at the university. It also increases the chances of the student getting a admission in the university because they would probably be treated as a conditional green card holder. So all in all, with everything going on, I think in the US right now, we see people take a more proactive step in trying to figure out their long-term immigration goals to the US well in advance.
And if I may, would just quickly add to that. As a firm, we had seen earlier that we had a lot of applicants who were single F-1 visa holders who were applying for this program, consulting with us on EB-5 eligibility. But now we are witnessing, given the changes to the program, lot of families who have more than one child coming early on and talking to us and finding out whether this is the best time to apply, how can I do it sooner, can both of my kids or more than one child be added to the petition.
Yeah.
So with the growing awareness, and obviously the awareness is contributed to industry stakeholders coming in the forefront and talking about these subjects, we are seeing lot of action. Yeah.
And if I can just jump on that, I think a lot of that action is coming from certain pronouncements or announcements about things like the gold card and the
Absolutely.
platinum card. And
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for those pronouncements.
Yeah. Works for us.